Good morning, everyone. The crew's already all here. There's Bo. There's Jake. No, Gus. Gus is probably super licking all the bowls in there. Oh, I've mentioned this, I think, before in other videos. We had, and I said, I worked at a place and salvaged a lot of food that was going to go in the dumpster and gave it away, went to homeless shelters and oh my gosh, they were so happy about it. Tried churches, yes, no. To them, I could tell it was more of a bother. I said, don't you have any poor families in your community? Or something. Anyway, it was kind of interesting. But yep, was an interesting little exercise, I guess. To see, yes, who would be grateful still for. Yeah, that was interesting. Well, anyway, so we had a lot of stuff, some things that I just wasn't interested in eating, but I had it. So a lot of our animals got a lot of goodies, and so did the dogs. And we're kind of running low now because the person retired. Yes, that kept me kind of going with it and was happy to. Right? I say, kindred spirits out there. He's worked together, and it's just wonderful. And so we're running low on goodies for them. And in the morning, they always get something extra good in their dry dog food. No, our dogs don't get wet dog food, the canned food, this and that. Anyway. And table scraps for our dogs are perfectly fine, too. I'm not sure who came up with that. That wasn't any good. Now you see the packaged stuff, right? The already pre-prepped meal that all looks like table scraps to me. What are table scraps? The leftovers of the meal you had. Okay. Stuff out there like that. To me, it's really baffling. I'm going, and people are falling for this stuff? Okay, all right. Yes. Anywho, also, I see, this is, the dog food has chicken feet and beaks and this and that in it, and I don't know what, and I'm going, yeah, people used to eat that too. Okay, all right. Some things are in there, or I'd rather they weren't, but right, it preserves it, so you can get a 50-pound bag of dog food, who hopefully won't go bad by the time you use it. Surely does not here with 3 big dogs. Anyway, so be it. I wonder how people 100 years ago fed their dogs. Well, they probably weren't as fat as ours, right? Just to begin with. Yes. Okay. All right. They made it, didn't they? I think probably dogs at that time were a lot healthier than they are now. Some of the stuff I'm hearing what dogs are all getting, well, number one, it's a lot from the medications that they're people put on for fleas and ticks and I don't know what else, Then the shots that they're getting now, I think the rabies shot's a good thing, but again, I happen to know from good sources that the rabies shot to begin with, that was good for 5 years. Right now, you have to get it every year. Okay, why? Is there a difference in the shot now? No. Oh, okay. So I chose a healthy medium of 3 years, and that's what my dog. I can't speak for the other people's dogs here. That's when he gets his rabies shot. And living where we do, it's probably a good idea. You live in the city, I don't know. You could have rabbit animals there. I saw a video of a fox jumping on a trampoline. People thought it was really funny. I looked at the fox and going, man, that fox's not healthy. Something's wrong with that fox. He's not jumping on that trampoline because he enjoys the jumping on the trampoline. Sure enough, turns out he had rabies. Yes. Yeah. Anywho, so we're starting to run out of goodies. And for, to me to put something good, right, into their food in the morning that isn't just leftover scraps, right, table scraps, or yeah. So I mentioned, oh, let's just get, just to give them a spoonful of something else besides just the boring every day, twice a day, dry dog food, Let's get some of the canned dog food, and I'll just put a spoon in it. As I said, I always add a little water to it, just to give them, a little something special. I mean, gosh, come on, how boring is it? That's how I think about my animals, right? Yes, weird one. It's the same for the piggies, right? I don't always have slop, but I make sure that I do have some slop, maybe once a week, just to give them, okay, the piggy idea. Okay. And I was kind of, well, you don't need that. I'm going, huh? I mean, those cans aren't all that expensive. A big old one that would probably last me just about, what, a week? Is what, $1.50 or something? So we can't afford that for our dogs just to have. Okay. It always surprises me when I'm the one that kind of thinks a little beyond the. Okay, I'm not a fan of flea and tick medicine, right? But with the big dog that I own now, it is handy to put the stuff on the back. It lasts for a month, So I'm good with that over the summer, but I don't give it to him over winter time. What for? Right? Okay. But in the summertime, yes, it is a lot easier to deal with it in a big dog. The small dogs, I just brush out. That was it. And kind of was nice for both the dogs and I. A little time together, besides just the petting a little bit, And I won't ever use a flea and tick shampoo anymore, ever. No, I had such a bad, or a dip. Nope. It's definitely a bad idea and total poison for a dog's skin. And as I said, now where our dogs have become more so interesting, they don't have the resistance anymore that dogs used to have, right? Yes, and just they're getting more and more sick as well, due to their surroundings, what gets put on them. Somehow that's already gets into the puppies, right? I'm just saying. And I don't know for sure. I didn't do any studying. I'm just observing in my own surroundings and what I've seen and with other people's dogs. Yes. So, not big on that kind of stuff, and rather try something else. Antibiotics, the same thing. I got my own stuff here that I give them that they tolerate just fine. Yes, I know avocado is supposed to be really bad for dogs. Don't feed them to our dogs because we love them too much ourselves and they're expensive. But Gus got into a whole little, there were 3 of them on the table and they were definitely gone. And he ate them. He was fine. So don't know. Chocolate, the same thing. I had a dog that we watched and he ate a whole box of See's candies. Oh my God. I thought, oh my God. And that was an expensive dog with a blue Weimaraner. Oh my God. Oh no. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll wait till tomorrow morning. That dog could be a goner. That's it. Chocolate for dogs. And he was fine. Didn't affect him, and not at all. Not even his poop or anything. Didn't throw up. Didn't poop different. No diarrhea. No nothing. Okay. So yes, don't start feeding your animals chocolate now. Okay, or avocado. I'm just saying, with what ours have gotten into here, it's never been as it was said. So, so interesting to me that somehow, in the way that I take care of our animals here, is with real give them the just little, okay, goody in the morning with their dried dog food, and I'm finding opposition to it. I mean, in the sense of, no, they don't need that. Okay. Interesting. Then I saw Gus. He actually went outside the fence, and sure enough, here goes Maverick starting to kick at him because Gus was just, yeah. And it is just playing. I get it, but not for the horse. It isn't. And well, if that hoof hits him, and he's 2 years old now. Anyway, so I'm hollering from the top floor, Gus, Gus, no, Gus. And it took several times, but suddenly, oh, Jake, I called one time Gus's name. He was in it on it too. And he was in the fence, done, right? Yes? Jake doesn't like to get into trouble. Yeah. Jake came out of an environment, sadly enough, where he was physically disciplined a lot. So, so he's not here. We don't do that here. None of our animals. No. Okay, guys. I know. Was it good? Did you like? Okay. No. You're all wet. They just came back from their walk. They're all wet. All of them are really dirty and wet. You want to get brushed? Oh, he doesn't even care. You want to get brushed? Jake says, yes, me. No, I just put clean clothes on. How do I bother? And it came to my mind. Okay, all right, you too, yes. No. You want to get brushed? Gotta take a moment here. The boys just saying good morning and thank you for the good food we had again, huh? Yes, I found a little goodie. I always find something. It doesn't matter if people bring it to me or not. I find something anyway. Right? Yes. Where'd the chicken go that was in the fridge? Somebody ate it. They'll learn their lesson. Daniela says, you bring me something back, you will. Or. And I thought on how many times were we hollered at by God? No, don't do that. Right? Don't. Right? Come back. Right? And we wouldn't listen. Right? Yes. Isn't that for parents the same thing? Right? Yes. Telling your child, don't do that. If whatever you do, don't do that. The next thing you know, you're hollering at them. Didn't I tell you? Now look at the mess you're in. And who are you blaming? Me. Though I hollered at you, told you. Don't do that. Right? Yes. It kind of reminded me while I was hollering for Gus. Eventually he came back and he was okay. I couldn't just let it go, though. And wait for him to get hit and learn his lesson that way. Right? Yes. And if he does it while there's nobody here, well, guess what? Or, as I said, if there's somebody else here who goes, yeah, whatever, right? Yes? Anyway. So, yes, do holler at your kids. Holler for them back. Make sure you know where they're at and what they're doing. Right? Teach them again and again and again on what not to do and holler for them back. Because, no doubt, if you're hollering for them, if you see what's going on, say, no, don't do that. And you already know this isn't going to be good. Right? At least then you tried. Oh, God does the same thing with us. He hollers back. Hollers us back. Don't. Are we hearing God? Do we hear God when He comes? Our heavenly parents, mother or father, do we hear them? when they're trying to keep us safe, call us back from something, spirit world already knows, you're going to be paying big time for that. Yeah. Anyway, interesting stuff went through my mind this morning, didn't it? Yes? Yeah. Well, I just saw again that they make different commercials and stuff out of it where, people who are raised anti-authoritative, which is a weird one to me. In any case, right? That's then when your child misbehaves towards another adult, this one just lets it go and doesn't discipline the child, or takes the child aside and says, "Okay, we need to talk about this, and when we're done talking about it, you will go and apologize." Right? Yes. Yeah. You have to teach your children that from young on. And one thing that has always bothered me more than anything, and still does to this day, when I see a child, even a young child, a baby, okay, a baby, 6 months to years, hit their parents. Not just, going for the earring, but actually hitting the parents, okay? That was a big no-no for my children. I have to honestly tell you, I don't remember them actually doing that. Right? Or biting. Right? Now, my children didn't bite other children. I'm not sure my kids do that. Right? And, if, again, so does one have to get physical with a child and discipline it in that way? I don't think so. If you start early enough and you pay attention to your child, even if you're as we got a problem, we got a biter or something, right? Yes? Yeah. Well, then I think the best thing is to, first of all, there is some aggression in your child that has to come out. And it's better to come out. Again, this is always a sign. Help, 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 help. Right? Yes. And God hollering, help, help, help him, her. It's coming out. You got to do something about this. That's going to be a problem once they grow up. In different ways. Right? Yes, yes it is. Yes, it will be. Well, what does one do? I think the best thing is buy a dog toy, one of those squeaky, squishy, plastic dog toys, rubbery dog toys, and say, if you feel like biting, that's what you get to bite. Nothing else. You don't get to bite another human being. And that's what you say, human being, not another child. Human being. Let them know what a human being is, right? And that a human being does not get to be abused. Children now in this world, well, I guess it's always been like that, have to learn that. I guarantee you the bullying would go away. Anti-authoritative. So, I think it's perfectly fine and should be possible because I know it is, because I did that with my youngest one. I knew enough about a mom by then. And did my children get spankings, this and that? Oh, very, very rarely. And as I said before, they'd go, Mom, you didn't know how to, you couldn't hurt us really. You made it look like, but it didn't feel. I always thought, man, surely it's got to go through to them now, And never hit their face or this or that. Always, every once in a while I grab their hair. I'm going, gently push back. Say, no, 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 no. Right? But it was always their bottom. Never other body parts or this or that. Always the one that supposedly, I guess, can take the spanking if it was needed. But with my youngest one, I didn't need that. And you would think the youngest one would be the most out of control since I had three other ones, also taking care of. It wasn't like that. I learned enough about a mom and seen what works actually in disciplining children and talking to them in a regular voice, this and that. Okay, we've got to talk about this. That's a human being. You're a human being. You don't do that. Make it short. Okay? Too long of explanation, the child can't figure out what you really said. And for children too young to where you can't bite back yet, because that doesn't really, I don't know how that works, but yeah, some children may be fit, but again, I don't know. Why are they biters? Get them something, that's where. If I find you do that anywhere else, you're going to be in trouble. Yes? But here, you can bite that if it has to come out, if you're unhappy. Otherwise, giving them also another choice. Come and talk to me if you're unhappy. You're unhappy about something. So you got to know the emotions of your child. They're your children. Yeah? I think people nowadays know the emotions of their cell phones better than their children. Huh? Yes? Huh? Oh, you're so in tune to that ring. Did I don't know. Did it? I don't have one, so I don't know. Right? I'm just saying. And then an adult, then in the commercial or whatever, the little story or they got it, then the adult that was raised anti-authoritative then gives the mother or the father whose child now is misbehaving, really, when it comes down to, is giving them a lesson on how they were raised. Say, oh yeah, I was raised anti-authoritative. Okay, first of all, this is such a fallible scene, okay, because an anti-authoritative child, somebody that was raised that way, they really know that they were raised that way and now need to teach someone else on what that actually is or means. Huh? And that now as adults they're misbehaving towards other adults. Well, if it's a lesson and obviously they've learned their lesson, no, that's not really how it works. But really, the whole scene on how a child misbehaving, raised with anti-authoritism, right, and then the parent being lectured or giving a lesson by an adult who was raised that way, how does that make sense? Just saying. Yes? Not sure. Are you guys getting my drift here? Okay, just saying. Yeah. Anyway, let's get started. I think there are great ways to raise children out there. Again, your environment has to be 100% protective. Your environment around your children has to be so protected. Oh, let's use this example. As you protect your cell phone, because you can't live without it anymore, and you probably can't afford another one because they're pretty expensive as far as I know. And of course, you need to keep all these connections out there. You've got to know immediately when a ding comes so you can look. And you also have to have that time immediately to do so, right? I'm not sure. Do people still turn off their cell phones? I know that maybe they were raised anti-authoritative, that people in church, going to a concert, going to a lecture, going to school, this sort of, keep their cell phones on. And sure enough, here goes a ding. Oh, somebody's calling. Yeah, that's wrong. Absolutely wrong. And before you enter school, a lecture, a concert, a talk, go to church, I'd say even when you go into the grocery store, right, you turn your cell phone off. Done. That should be clear to everyone, unless you were raised anti-authoritative and are just rude as heck. Right? Yes? Okay. Oh, your children need to be attended to, protected, and cared for as you care for your cell phone. Oh, don't turn them off. I just say. Yes. And when you have children, that's your first attention. All the time. even when they're not around you, in school, this or that. Right? Your mind, your heart to mind, should always be with your children. Always. There is not a day that goes by that I don't think of all of my children. I come across something, and sure enough, as soon as, or my grandchildren, as soon as, somehow I haven't had that connection for an hour, 2 hours, something hollers. Hello, hello, where is your heart to mind? Got to be with your children, your grandchildren. Of course, they're the closest to me. What if, as the generation now getting older, while my children are out there working, raising their children, having a family, taking care of their spouses, this and that, right? What if my attention suddenly has veered off so far that that spiritual protection that I have now, that I'm so capable of now, because I got what? The time. What if that suddenly isn't there for an hour or two? 3 hours, for a day, 2 days, a week. So spirit world hollers. And sure, as I said, in subconscious, just like us, God's always on my mind. Right? Spirit world's always with me. Right? So are my children and my grandchildren. Done. It's an important protection out there. That then hollers to my children. You've got to protect your children. You've got to protect your environment. You got to protect your marriage, your relationships with someone that may be the one, right? Yes, it's important. It's more important than your cell phone. It's more important than internet connection. Okay. All right. Well, how did I get into that? Anti-authoritative stuff. Yeah. So, weird one. So yeah, I know that. I says, well, it doesn't hurt to spank your kids every once in a while, this and that. Oh, okay. I didn't like it when I was a child. I got a few times, just like my children. Just a few times. Okay. But I didn't like it. I wished my mom would just talk to me. Right? Yes, I had to learn then not to do that to my children as well and talk to them. I did. I learned from it. Except for the few times where I had to go, okay, this is about real super safety now, and they're not listening, so no, done. Yeah. And before I would do that, believe it or not, I was taught that in a class. Before I just said, look, this is going to hurt me as much as it's going to hurt you. And I don't want to do it. To not do it in anger, right? Never did that. I always approach it with, okay, let's get ready for this, because I don't want to do that. I don't see another way because you're not listening. So yes, yeah, and it's going to hurt me as much as it hurts you, and don't want to do it, but you're not leaving me a choice. And that's exactly how I would approach it. Not get over here, and never, ever. No, no. And supposedly that has a different effect on a child than if you just bang into them, per se, right? Or grab them in anger, this or that. Yes, kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. Oh, but wait a minute. Yeah, we want to believe that God was an angry and vengeful God, though he is the ultimate parent. I always say, am I better than God? I absolutely am 100% not. Then I know that many things I hear about God just aren't true. And we're going to fix his reputation to the absolute, ultimate, heavenly parent that knows to be a father and a mother, that knows absolute love and only ever deals with absolute love. Yes, he'll holler at you. Hey, don't. The consequences. I can't help the consequences if you put yourself into that position. But he'll try to holler you back from it. You see? Yes. Okay. All right. We're in Deuteronomy 23. Oh, which is odd. These chapters, little chapters, start in the middle of something. So we're still in the end sentence of adultery and fornication in Deuteronomy 23. A man must not take his father's wife. He must not withdraw the skirt of his father's cloak from her. I have no idea what that means. So what happens? That's one thing that they haven't really talked about, have they? Does the woman always die first and the man after? What if the father dies first and the mother is still there? Now she's a widow. Where do widows go? Oh well, the husband may have brothers, so then the father of the children of that wife that father that has passed away. Now the children and the grown sons are going to be the brothers are going to be under the care of the brother, or does she become the widow, the brother's wife? Well, then where does the son come in here? Then that wouldn't make sense. Why would, okay, so it's a grown son, 30 years old, 40 years old, and now his mom is widowed, and he's doing what? Come again? You see? Why is this stuff all mentioned in here like this? How does this make sense? Already, the kind of problems, sexual problems that they had there, or how do you say, promiscuity. Oh, it's a woman. Does it matter if it's your mother, your sister, your whatever? It's just a woman. Oh, Daniela, you keep going right on as you did yesterday, right? Hey. No. I just wonder how that works. Maybe a man needs to talk about this. No idea. Participation in public worship. A man whose testicles... They sure talk a lot about our private parts, our holy parts, don't they? Huh? There's a whole lot going on with that. You wonder why? I wonder what happened in the Garden of Eden. This has become such a big problem. Huh? So many guidelines on that obviously people are breaking left and right. So here we go. A man whose testicles have been crushed or whose male member has been cut off must not be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. No half-breed may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. Not even his descendants to the 10th generation may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. No Ammonite or Moabite may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. Not even his descendants to the 10th generation may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. And this is for all time, since they did not come to meet you with food and drink when you were on your way out of Egypt, and even hired Balaam, son of Beor, to oppose you by cursing you, from Pethor in Aram Naharaim. But Yahweh your God refused to listen to Balaam, and Yahweh your God turned the curse on you into a blessing, because Yahweh your God loved you. Never as long as you live must you seek their welfare or their prosperity. You must not regard the Edomite as detestable, for he is your brother. You must not regard the Egyptian as detestable, since you were once a foreigner in his country. The third generation of children born to these may be admitted to the assembly of Yahweh. Interesting again. I'd like to say a whole lot to this one. So, first of all, again, well, it's not my fault I was born one of these other tribes, right? Or other people in the country. So, with the Egyptians, it's okay because they lived as foreigners in Egypt. And, to begin with, they weren't slaves there. Don't know how that happened, how that suddenly became. But they moved there because they didn't have anything to eat, and Egypt provided what for them to survive. So, means a lot to God, obviously. That sounds like it. I don't know if this all came from God, because we also know that Balaam said, well, I got to go back first and talk to God about this. God says, no, you can't curse the Israelites. It doesn't matter. You can't do that. And he resisted. According to, he got the lesson with his donkey, resisted every time. So why are they talking about Balaam here like this now? All right. So not quite sure. Again, who's telling the story? Different experiences. People kind of getting a different idea on what there should be. Now, did you guys listen to this, the whole thing? What does that sound like? I've heard a lot of. I saw a few, and again, maybe I'm seeing these videos because with what we're reading here, and I come across them to be alerted to the situation that the Israelites are in today's world. And one thing is that anti-Semitism, again, seems to be, they're experiencing that again. I have to say, you are where? In your own country where peace and harmony can't be had. I'm not sure why not. Again, that I feel like needs to be more explored. There's just two people hating each other to the point of no return. Not happening. If that's anti-Semitism? I don't think so. I don't think that's what that is. I grew up around Jewish people. Now, that's one thing I did grow up around. We had a lot of Jewish people in Switzerland. Interestingly enough, they didn't flaunt their Jewish faith or anything. You literally had to say, know about it. Right? Well, in any case, so I've never seen anybody abused. As I said, that didn't happen there. I don't know other places in the world, right? I mean, I said, which religion in certain places in the world is not getting abused? I mean, the people threatened, not accepted for one way or another. So it isn't just the Jewish people to start with, not in today's world anymore. So where's the anti-Semitism thing coming from? Oh, because there's still a few crazy Nazis out there? That also, anybody that, okay, now first of all, if there's anything on the internet like that, that should be immediately banned, immediately taken care of and deleted, done. But it's not. Why not? Then the other thing too is that, okay, so what are we reading here? What did we just read? Who's allowed in the assembly of God? Only the purest of the pure? Or when you have purified over generations, so only the purest of the pure? Hey, people, are you hearing this? So did the Israelites actually do that? And as I said, even before that, any infraction, this or that, God told them, gotta get rid of that evil. Get rid of that evil. What's that sound like? Just saying. You got to be careful when you shoot yourself in the foot. Okay? This is so many generations later. The other thing, too, it talks about blood guilt. I find it interesting that suddenly now, this anti-Semitism that I'm not hearing from anywhere except from Jewish people. Again, oh, this is, and most likely because of their country. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the people around the world. It has to do with what? Okay, you're in a war. Okay, you're in a war over property, over land. That's what you're into. So it needs to be looked at in the right context to begin with. Then the other thing is if you want to look at it in your way, then you need to go back and you need to read the Bible and then look on what happened before the New Testament. So, now who's playing the victim out there again? Huh? Just asking. Because it's not making sense. From what I've seen out there, it's not making sense. Not today. Not today it doesn't. And the few that for one reason or another are having some problems in other places, as I said, who doesn't? We have churches that people are burning down here. Hello, people of Christians. Now what? Are people out there hollering around about anti-Christicism or something? I'm just asking. This is over and done with. And again, what do most likely, if you want something so much better for your people, and I respect the Jewish faith, Judaism, very much. It's given us so much to learn from. Follow? Learn from. And that's what you do. If you still have something good to give, then that is what you do. Start blessing the ground that you are on continuously and disregard anything else. You don't have time for that. So the people of Israel, start blessing your ground. And when you do that, then you will find a way to live in peace and harmony with another people right next to you. I guarantee you that. I know that because that's what God's telling me. What is your God telling you? You need to do this, what I just read? That's probably not going to go over well with most people, the rest of the people in the world. I could mention something else here now, but I'm not going to. I don't want to be mean. Or mean, it would be the truth. You're still whining. You're still whining. The most horrific thing that I grew up with as a child, knowing about as a child, was the Holocaust. It was. And there is no excuse for that. None. Zero. I don't care what people say out there. And I've heard because, it's about restoration, this and that. And what did the Israelites do at the time of Jesus when he would put on the cross? It was Jesus' own people who put him on the cross, decided upon so, according to the Bible. Right? But I don't believe that. Okay. I don't believe that God would make a consequence like that. I mean, be all right with that. Well, that's what you incurred. No, I don't. No. At the same time, again, it's something to learn from. And one thing that you don't do and never do, and how that was even possible, should give people an idea on how that could be possible again. Not for whatever, whomever. Right? Somewhere else. And it is. It has. Genocide is not it's not new. Again, it isn't anything new. It's happening right here in the Old Testament as well. Oh, done by the Israelites. I don't know. What is that? Take over whole towns and kill everybody in it. Babies. Pregnant ladies. Just not scary. So, put your concern where they really belong. Right? And don't accuse the rest of us out here of anti-Semitism. Please don't do that. I'm very offended over that. Well, it's not you. No. Stop. But here's one thing. With what's going on around the world, right? If you're living here, for example, as a Jew, then remind people what Dr. Mengele did to children and on how that's happening right now with the transgenderism crap to children. On how we have Dr. Mengele's out there doing that right now, still, on what was done to your children, to your race, to Jews at the time of the Holocaust. And if anybody is out there with any kind of material saying, oh, that never happened, this or that, that needs to be banned. Not good books off the shelf that are teaching people something. Those books need to be banned. Any of that. That's not freedom of speech. Okay? Or freedom to write, or this or that, whatever comes to your head. That's what I would, yeah. And that was one thing that was actually mentioned. Yeah, people say, okay, are you doing this again because you still want to hang on to being that victim of that time? Or, okay, can we focus on some things that people are doing out there that are totally wrong? Like saying that the Holocaust didn't exist, didn't happen? I'm just saying. Right? Yes. But to go back to this, I'm reading that, I'm going, oh, interesting. Which also makes more sense. I had a couple here, and the guy was actually really nice. They were both Jewish, and it was the day of some kind of a thing they started where they had to be at home and couldn't do anything, this or that, something. I can't remember what it was called. And they came here, right? It was at 4 o'clock it started, so they had to be back at home by 4, right? So they came here as a couple, and I've known them for a long time. Not well, so they were more my husband's friends or something. They came to visit. The guy was kind of nice, and the woman was just, I could tell right away, there was something not right. It's like, she didn't like me. I could tell she doesn't like me. I wondered why. I was really friendly. I never had anything to do with her. So, yeah, I think I was like, oh, okay, when she was younger, that was so many years ago, maybe she was interested in my husband, too. There were a lot of women, so just saying, right? I don't know what else it could be. So they come in, I'm going, oh, so you're doing this? I said, why don't you just stay here, right? Paul can go and get your stuff, at the house, and you just stay here. I said, I'd like to be a part of that. How does this work? Oh, hell no. No, it was like, no. And then suddenly she got in a tizzy, the snag, gotta leave, right? It's very rude. I felt they were very, very rude. I'm looking at it, okay. I'm just bringing that up as an example. Has that changed anything for me? No, that's just people. It's just people. People doing their thing. They don't want to share what they're doing. Done. Okay, all right. Well, I'm not worthy. I don't know. But it was interesting. Another experience. So, please stop. Stop with, yes, bullying Bullying happens all over the world to all kinds of people, this and that. Yes. And some of you, Jewish people, still getting bullied. It's not okay. I agree. But can we stop the anti-Semitism kind of thing? Because I don't think that's true anymore. I don't know. What does Palestine? What did they what did they call what you're doing to them as well? Okay, just saying. Anti-Palestina, anti. What does that? Anti. What are they? Muslims? Anti-Muslim? Are you anti-Muslim? I'm bringing this up not to make you mad now or whatever. I'm bringing it up to think, just to give it a thought. God may be hollering you back on, hey, wait. You gotta stop. That's not how you move forward. It isn't. That's not how you're ever going to have peace and harmony in your country with your neighboring country. Have you not figured this out yet? No, you haven't. Is it because of Deuteronomy 23, where I'm reading about participation in public worship? Just wonder. All right. Okay, hygiene in camp. When you are in camp at war with your enemies, you must avoid anything bad. If any one of you is unclean by reason of a nocturnal emission. What does that mean? A nocturnal emission. No. Wait a minute. You're in camp. All right. I don't know. He must leave and not come back into camp, but towards evening wash himself and return to camp at sunset. You must have a latrine outside the camp and go out to this. You must have a trowel in your equipment, and when you squat outside, you must scrape a hole with it. Then turn round and cover up your excrement. For Yahweh your God goes about the inside of your camp to guard you and put your enemies at your mercy. Your camp must therefore be a holy place. Yahweh must not see anything indecent there, or he will desert you. All right, I'm sorry. How does that make sense? I mean, we're designed to eliminate, right? Okay. So, yeah, it's probably healthier. Okay, hygiene. It mentions hygiene, right? Oh, how does it mention hygiene? I think it should be common sense to anyone that human excrement everywhere, first of all, doesn't smell good. It's even pee. You pee a few times in the same place or something, and it starts to stink. Right? Unless it rains, then it doesn't matter, right? Yeah. So, and then you got to be careful. You got so many soldiers cruising around, and they poop whatever, pee whatever. You step in it, everything starts to get what? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what unclean means, right? It gets everywhere. It'll be eventually everywhere. And you're going to have an infested, nasty camp. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's another thing. Soldiers sweat. They stink. Men stink, on a regular basis, really, when it comes down to it. It's normal if they work. Surely in a soldier's uniform, then you didn't have, I don't know, that much water, so couldn't wash yourself all the time, right? Okay, all right. You get my drift here? So you try to keep it down to a minimum, right? It's interesting to me that that's in the Bible. That's something I have to say, wait a minute. What? You have to be told that? What about that nocturnal emission? When that happens, they have to leave the camp. Oh, you got all clean thoughts going. Oh, missing your wife or something. Okay, I'm going. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't. Oh. All right, so we had a rough one beforehand. Now we're getting the laugh in a way. Again, I find it interesting on how the humor of God, and to me is priceless, and in a way, if we as believers of our heavenly parents, our heavenly Father, God, okay, which interesting, I saw a little blurb in another thing where all the different names, right? Uh, Allah, for example, means the God, right? Yes. Other there's where it always all these different religions, all these different beliefs, but it always goes back to what? God, that one God, okay, our God, right? And if we still willingly just separate ourselves between ourselves, though we have the one God, our God, right, to look up to and follow the guidelines, right, the commandments, the Lord's Prayer. Yes, now we have the family pledge as well. All right. That's what we should concentrate on our God. It's not your God, it's my God too. It's not just my God, it's your God too. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So here's the humor. We should all be able to laugh over. Yeah, that's good humor right there. Right? Yes? Miscellaneous. You must not allow a master to imprison a slave who has escaped from him and come to you. Let him make his home with you and yours. Wherever he pleases, in whichever of your towns he prefers, you must not molest him. Oh, interesting. So, I thought this country here was founded under God, which means we believe in this, don't we? What does it say? So the founders of this country, supposed founders, didn't read this part. A slave escapes and goes to someone else. He's supposed to what? You keep him. Stay there. Also, that should have been a slave escapes somewhere, not happy, this and that, isn't getting their due, isn't being treated properly, this and that. Makes it, and people go, what? Lunch parties go after him, this and that, without hearing first, okay, what's going on? And if another, I'm keeping him then. If he wants to stay here with me because he's heard good things about our place here and how we deal with things like that, or on how we give them a chance to work off this and that, and then have a capital to start something on their own. This did happen too. Okay, but it is right here. Yes, see, if people would know the Bible a little bit better, really, you'd have some good arguments out there for things that are absolutely wrong and should never be done, and where God actually gives guidance. You think that was God's guidance right there? I believe so, 100%. God has given us a little section right here where abuse is not tolerated, and if the abuser loses the abused, and the abused somehow escapes and finds a better place, guess what? That's allowed. And he doesn't need to be, she, the girl, the boy, does not need to be returned. Interesting. There must be no sacred prostitute among the women of Israel, and no sacred prostitute among the men of Israel. What? A sacred prostitute? What the heck does that mean? Well, here it is. I sure would like to know what that means. What does that mean? I could go and look it up. I did go and look up the parapet, whatever that was, parapet, which is some kind of a wall around your roof. I don't know how we would do that here. We don't have flat roofs, but you guys used to, right? Yeah. So you can't do that here. With a terrace, this, that. Yeah. But supposedly that's how you keep people from hurting themselves when they go up on the roof. I guess you wouldn't go really up on our roof, right? Yeah. It's not that type of roof. You guys ever watch Michael? That Age with the Angel. I thought angels were blah blah. I'm not that type of angel. Cracked me up. Okay, all right. Sacred prostitutes, men or women? Nope, nope. They had them. No idea what that means or what that is. You must not bring the wages of a prostitute or the earnings of a dog to the house of Yahweh your God. Whatever vow you may have made, both are detestable to Yahweh your God. Okay, so again, this is like a fallible paragraph right here. So God says, don't have that. Don't bring the wages of such said to, well, okay, wait a minute. You don't have that. Done. Then the wages wouldn't, then that wouldn't be even a question. I mean, that wouldn't be even a possibility, right? But again, so yeah, God probably says it. You can't. Nope. Nope. That's foul. That's foul and disgraceful and absolutely a no-no. You have to put something in there to say, but if it does happen, we don't want the money from it. Really? Sure. Interesting. Just saying. You must not lend on interest to your brother, whether the loan be of money, of food, or of anything else that may earn interest. You may demand interest on a loan to a foreigner, but you must not demand interest from your brother, so that Yahweh your God may bless you in all your labors in the country which you are about to enter and make your own. As a family, you should know to work together, and that if you do loan money, which, yeah, well, anyway, it doesn't make sense to me if it's within your family. But you don't, on top of that, then make extra, right? Yes? Oh, to a foreigner, okay, I understand this one a little better, but okay, so you make a deal, right? Yeah. I find that loan sharks, right? Yes, don't be a loan shark. That has destroyed so many people. You're in need of, I just need a little to get back on my feet. Right? And you come across a loan shark. No other way, no other possibilities. Banks are so, no, you have to have a guarantee. Loan sharks don't. They'll just come for you, right? Yes? Oh, supposedly, that's still a big business in Asia. Loan sharks and stuff. I don't know about here. I have no idea. Well, it's done in a little bit of a different way, right? Advanced cash. All right, so, and it can literally destroy a person. Because the interest, you can't even, then suddenly you can't pay the interest. This and that. So God's giving direction right here. And not just to loan sharks. This goes for many other different things. Ooh. Some people say the Old Testament, kind of obsolete now. We got the New Testament, kind of obsolete too. We got the Third Testament now. Really? I don't think you should disregard. You learn from your parents as a child. And the lessons learned as a child from your parents are still good. The consequences, too, that your parents said, if you still remember that as well. You're still learning with that as well. And then you're giving it to your children. So to say that any part of the Bible becomes obsolete, I think is very ignorant. I'm sorry if I offend some really high up people out there, but that's the truth. Because we're still learning from it. And the consequences are still visible. Just saying. All right. If you make a vow to Yahweh your God, you must not be slack about fulfilling it. Promises are, yes. But they're not made to God. They're just made to people. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Even someone that is an atheist or has different religions, where our God is not their God. They've got multiple ones, this, that, I don't know what. Regardless, they're still the makeup of our God. Part of God is in them. Visible or invisible, it's there. It just is. Right? Yes. Don't you find it interesting that you can't make any animal or plant, can convince them to be a part of your religion? I'm just saying. So, yeah, you make a promise to someone, it's us giving God a promise. Yes. Better keep these promises. Just saying. Yahweh your God will certainly hold you answerable for it, and you will incur guilt. Guilt. What's guilt? I don't know. Maybe we need a new definition out there what guilt is. Yes, or remind people again what that is. Guilt. If, however, you make no vow, you do not incur guilt. Whatever passes your lips, you must keep to, and the vow that you have made to Yahweh, your generous God, you must fulfill. If you go into your neighbor's vineyard, you may eat as many grapes as you please, but you must not put any in your basket. If you go into your neighbor's standing corn, you may pick ears by hand, but you must not put a sickle into your neighbor's corn. Wow. This teaches both sides. If I have someone come here, they're going to go through my garden and pick the peas and eat them, and some carrots and eat them. Eventually they're going to be full, but they're not allowed to leave with anything in their hand, per se, right? Yes? Okay, it says they can pick as much corn as they can carry, right? Which I'm assuming, right, again, with the examples given, is what? Is that again literal, this or that? Well, it makes a good literal example, right? On how, if your neighbor is in need, you help them out accordingly, but that the neighbor doesn't expect for you to hand everything that you have worked for to them. What did I talk about yesterday? Aha. Okay. Well, it's right in here. Right there. Okay. I have to say, so guilt is something where your conscience starts to prick you, okay? It just does. If you got one, everybody has one. You can ignore your conscience. But the thing is, in the back of your mind, in your subconscious, your conscience always will be bugging you if you haven't cured guilt. Done. And you know it, but you want to shovel it aside, blame somebody else again. And, we're the victims. We're still being bullied. We're still this and that. Look, you got to look at yourself first. When you do that, make really sure that you are not still working on some incurred guilt towards God. Our God. Just saying. Oh, that's the end of 23. What I have found, then the last part of it clearly gives us a direction again from God, where when you start to want to restore that incurred guilt and start to fix things, Keep the promises, this now. Then the people around you will start to work with you. You will have the right people. They're waiting. They're just waiting. Already put in place by God, waiting to help you to do that. God does not want to help you to kill another people. God will not help you. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. What we read in here, because that's not God's word anymore. Okay? When it comes to that. Keep your camp clean. Right? Yes? God has people ready. To help you take care of that incurred guilt. Just saying. Again, people can understand that however they want to. And now call me out as a whatever. That's not what it is. And if that is the excuse of people out there, as I said, to push me aside and call me whatever, this and that, again, what are you doing? While you are complaining about the same thing? No. I just give what a messenger gives when one sees, right? Yes? The vision ahead of them. Right? Understands better and better on how that's how God stays in our lives. This is how we help each other out when there's need to restore something. And then the help will come. But as long as one prefers conflict, because you just want to stay right about things, then, well, you're probably going to stay on your own. You're going to feel even more persecuted and judged, this and that, right? And things are going to get worse, most likely. And people will perish. It's very sad, isn't it? Okay, all right. Well, there you go. Woof. I knew that was going to come since I've gone, oh my gosh, don't like to talk about these kind of things because they're so sensitive, right? Such sensitive things to talk about. Well, anyway. That's my cue right there. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you another time.